Tonight, family and friends coming together for a balloon release, all in remembrance of the 3 victims killed in an early morning shooting on Sunday.
Today, police released their names: Nico Manning, Camden Brown, and Jassidy Strong. It happened near East 57th and Prospect. 6 others were shot.
It was a pain that I wish no parent to experience. You know, I just felt helpless.
Losing a child that you gave birth to, your first child, your first love. It's the worst pain you can go through.
In just the last 2 hours, police officially named a suspect in that shooting, 26-year-old Kevon Green. They're facing assault and armed criminal action charges. But according to the Jackson County prosecutor, more charges are expected. And
as families continue to grieve, we're taking those concerns over growing violence to city leadership and asking experts who are starting the conversations.
And part of that is learning how to make appropriate decisions going forward, like not picking up a gun. Conflict resolution is a huge part of this.
We will hear more from the Child Protection Center and Kansas City Mayor Quinton Lucas in just a few minutes.
But right now we want to get out to KSHB 41 reporter Alyssa Jackson, who's at the balloon release, hearing from those who knew the victims best. Alyssa, your heart just breaks for those parents.
The families of Jassidy Strong, Camden Brown, and Nico Manning were just celebrating life. They were celebrating birthdays at this auto shop next to the parking lot where it happened. And now they're forced to remember their last moments. The owner of that auto shop where the family is currently gathering now for a balloon release told me how violence has rocked their family in the past 24 hours, with the other shooting off 31st and Prospect taking the life of one of his cousins. He was describing to me all of the shell casings that lined 57th and Prospect after the shooting happened, leaving for 5 minutes and rushing back to the sound of gunshots. Nate Gadsden, the owner, says he was hosting a private family event where it happened when his family was caught in the crossfire.
When something bad happens, it's whoever's the closest around is their fault. And I understand how things happen. I don't condone none of the violence. I don't condone none of that. I don't condone none of it. Because we all got babies out here. We're trying to get these babies to live longer than us. They're dying faster than we can. We burying our kids. I feel like I didn't do my job when I lost my cousin. Because if he had stayed where I told him to stay, he wouldn't have been outside. And it's like you shouldn't have to be in the war zone just because you want to enjoy yourself. I mean, it's just a problem with the city as a whole. It's not a Prospect problem. It's not a Purcell problem. It's not a North-South problem. It's an all-around problem.
We went door to door all day and afternoon talking to neighbors and people in this community who just did not seem shocked. The fact that a mass shooting, they've seen a lot of violence in this community, so they're devastated, they're disappointed, but it's not something that is surprising to them. The owner of this auto shop behind me, who's a family member, said this is it for him though. He will not be having any more private events at his establishment, and he might not have an establishment in this neighborhood for much longer. Right now the family is filing in behind me. I've heard some emotion already, some tears. We were out here when the Kansas City Fire Department was still cleaning up the crime scene earlier today. So we will continue to stay on top of this story and any updates that become available, but for now we'll be out here with the family for their balloon release this evening. Live off 57th and Prospect, Alyssa Jackson, KSHB 41 News.
You know, the fact he said it's not surprising is disturbing. It should be to everyone. Thank you, Alyssa.